Alright, what's up guys? Got another video of what if Mace Windu killed Palpatine and fought Anakin. So I started a cash app if you want to donate. If you have a video idea, I'll try and make it into a short or a video. So the cash app will be linked down below from now on if you want to donate or anything, but you don't have to, of course. But if you like this type of content, then be sure to subscribe for more what if slash fanfics, lore, comics, reviews, and video essays, and just all things Star Wars. But with all that out of the way, why don't we just dive right on in. So the story starts out during the events of Revenge of the Sith. Anakin was in the council chambers waiting just as Master Windu had told him to. He got up and looked out the window onto the Coruscant streets, pondering everything. He remembered Palpatine telling him he was a Sith Lord and telling Mace Windu about it, and then Windu and the other council members going to confront Palpatine. He realized in that moment, the only thing he cared about was Padme. Saving her was the only thing that mattered, and to do that, he needed Palpatine. He needed the Sith alive to save his wife, and he didn't care if he had to join him to do so. But with that moment of hesitation, Anakin spent a little bit longer than normal in the council chambers than in the original timeline, and as he left the council room, he made his way to Palpatine's office. The scene he saw horrified him. Along with the 3 dead council members, the Chosen One walked in and saw Mace Windu strike down Palpatine, killing him. And the only chance he figured he had to save Padme. Mace saw Anakin enter inside and spoke. "Young Skywalker, it was the only way." But Anakin didn't hear anything. All he saw was red. All he saw was rage. Windu had just killed the only chance he had to save his wife from dying in childbirth, and now he would pay. Anakin didn't say anything as he ignited his lightsaber, and Mace saw this and told him to stand down. But Anakin wasn't backing off. Windu sighed and reignited his purple saber as Anakin charged towards him. Skywalker's swings were heavy, but Windu blocked and dodged each one. He always knew Anakin wasn't to be trusted, and this right here proved it. His anger had gotten the better of him. Mace was still exhausted with his duel with Palpatine, but he was still able to take on Anakin. The Chosen One swung wildly. He wasn't in the right state of mind, and Mace could sense this. His swings were wild and ferocious. There was no permanent form, just unbridled rage and a determination to kill. Anakin's aggression brought out the dark side, which fueled his strength, making his crazy swings all the stronger. However, Mace utilized this with Vapad and used Anakin's anger against him. With a wild swing, Mace dodged it and swung up, cutting off Anakin's left arm and force pushing him against the wall. Anakin was dazed, but he still had one arm, but he looked up as Mace had his saber to his throat, telling him to stand down. Skywalker wasn't having any of that, and he attempted to jump up and behind Windu, but Mace easily saw through this, and as Anakin jumped, the Master of the Order cut off both of the Chosen One's legs, causing him to fall and tumble to the ground. Anakin struggled, and if he felt his missing limbs, and he howled in pain. Mace saw this and knew the fight was over. Anakin tried reaching for his lightsaber, but Mace kicked it away, and Anakin looked up with tears in his eyes, yelling, "You killed her. It's your fault. I hate you." Mace was taken aback by this rage, but it made him think, who was the Chosen One talking about, and he would be willing to throw everything away for. It didn't matter though, as Mace contacted the Jedi Temple and sent Drowlix sent a squad of Temple Guards to come and arrest Anakin. However, now there was a major problem to deal with. The Chancellor was dead and the poster boy of the Republic was in custody. Mace ordered for an immediate council meeting and informed everyone of what happened. All were in shock, but none more so than Obi-Wan. He couldn't believe that Anakin would attack Mace, and now Mace spoke to them saying that now they had to face the problem of the death of the Chancellor and the fact that he was a Sith Lord who played both sides of the war. But as the council meeting proceeded, Masamita discovered the demise of Palpatine and used this to his advantage. He ordered for an immediate Senate meeting and used a secret recording that was edited, which showed the Jedi as traitors to the Republic and having cut down the Chancellor in order to take over. But that the hero of the Republic in the Clone Wars, Anakin Skywalker, attempted to stop them, but he was brutally dismembered and was wrongfully imprisoned by the Jedi. Everyone was in shock, but when Padme heard the news, she couldn't believe it. She didn't want to believe her Jedi friends could do something like that, but that's when she was contacted by Obi-Wan, who told her the real truth. The fact that Palpatine had played them all and Anakin wrongfully attacked Mace and was now imprisoned. She realized this was the real truth, and she couldn't believe that Anakin would do something like this. What he did made Padme think differently of him, and made her think that maybe he wasn't the man she had fallen in love with and married. But deep in the Jedi Temple, Anakin was in a cell, restrained, pondering everything that had happened. Rage and anger was all he was feeling. Palpatine was right. The Jedi were the ones who were evil. They were a stain on the galaxy and the Republic, and he decided that he would finish what Palpatine had started. Anakin focused. He was now unlocking his full potential. Even force-restraining handcuffs wouldn't be enough. He tried to free himself and felt his new robotic limbs that had been put on after he lost to Mace, but to no avail. However, he was freed by a Jedi Temple Guard who had sided with Palpatine. The Temple Guard only nodded, saying Palpatine would want this, as he disappeared into the shadows. Just then, 2 other Jedi Temple Guards saw that Anakin had escaped, but as Anakin thought about everything, he decided he would make Mace pay. They ignited their sabers, and Anakin used a massive force push and then stole one of their lightsabers, igniting the double-bladed weapon and stabbing one temple guard through the throat, and then gutting the other one with the other end. He deignited the saber and hit their bodies, but taking the robes and mask of one and disguised himself as a temple guard. With this ruse, Anakin secretly made his way through the temple and escaped. He tossed the temple guard uniform in the garbage and changed into a dark robe to ensure no one knew who he was. But while Anakin escaped, Mace contacted Bail Organa, and as Mace Windu lied about the Jedi to the entire galaxy, Mace and Bail made their way into the Senate building. Everyone heard the commotion and were shocked to see the man behind it all. Mace told the guards to arrest Windu, but Bail told them to stand down as they had solid evidence of the truth. Mace explained everything about the fact that Palpatine was a Sith Lord, but his true crimes were that he played both sides of the war and instigated everything both with the Republic and the Separatists. They showed banking records and chat logs with Dooku that proved everything, and then Mace showed the real, unaltered footage of what happened in the Chancellor's office. And with all that, Mace and the other Jedi were deemed innocent, and Mace Windu and other Palpatine co-conspirators were taken into custody. Mace thanked Bail for his help and he made his way back to the temple, but there he discovered that Anakin had escaped. Mace alerted the council and the Jedi Temple went into lockdown, and a search team was sent after Anakin. The Chosen One traversed the streets of Coruscant, making his way to Padme's apartment. He entered, and she was sitting on the couch, and she heard Anakin come in. She was startled, but Anakin calmed her down, telling her that he came for her. "Padme, let's leave. Let's go to Naboo or anywhere else in the galaxy, and let's live out the rest of our lives with their child." Anakin begged her to come with him, but she spoke back. "Annie, I know what you've done. We can't run from this. We have to face it together." Anakin scowled. Of all the people in the galaxy, he thought she would understand. He did everything for her, all to save her. He thought about it and realized that the Jedi must have gotten to her. Padme could see Anakin wasn't in his right state of mind, but before Padme could utter a word, Anakin began choking her. She begged him, but as Anakin force choked his wife, a tear fell down his face while saying, You betrayed me, my own wife. You sided with them." But as Anakin finished yelling, he heard the door open and saw Mace Windu, Ahsoka, who returned from Mandalore, Yoda, who returned from Kashyyyk, and Obi-Wan, who had killed Grievous on Utapau. Obi-Wan told Anakin to put Padme down, and Anakin scowled even harder. He released his grip from Padme, and she fell to the ground coughing. Ahsoka ran over to help her, and Anakin ripped the Temple Guard saber in half, and ignited both remaining ends, forming two sabers instead of one. The three masters saw this and ignited their own sabers. Obi-Wan pleaded with Anakin. "Anakin, you're the Chosen One. The Sith have clouded your judgment. Don't try it." Anakin responded, "You underestimate my power." Obi-Wan spoke back, "We will do what we must." Anakin sprinted forward and began an onslaught of attacks on the three. They sensed it. He was somehow getting stronger. He was unlocking his full potential. Skywalker swung a flurry of strikes towards Obi-Wan using Form 5, but Obi-Wan blocked each strike with Form 3. Yoda jumped over Anakin and began jumping around using Form 4 to outspeed Anakin. He kept up with Yoda, but barely. Yoda would go in for an attack, but Obi-Wan would block. It was manageable for now, but then Mace Windu jumped in the fray using Form 7 and Vapad to use Anakin's anger against him. With the three masters against him, the Chosen One realized just how outmatched he truly was, but he didn't want to give up. The Jedi were responsible for all of his suffering. He wouldn't let them stop him from saving the one person he cared about most. Anakin's anger was growing, and he unleashed a massive force push that sent Mace and Yoda crashing into the walls and caused Obi-Wan to stumble back. And Anakin used that distraction to attempt to strike down Obi-Wan, but he stopped when he heard a lightsaber ignite, and he looked down and saw a saber through his chest. He looked in shock as he turned around and saw that it was Ahsoka. He dropped the Temple Guard lightsaber and fell to the ground as Padme, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan ran to his side. And in that moment, Anakin learned his mistake. The Jedi weren't evil. He was only being manipulated by Palpatine. He looked at the people he cared most for in life and apologized for everything, and that he wished he could have seen the errors of his ways before it was too late. And with that, Anakin took his last breath, dying by their side. Padme began crying as Ahsoka got up and ran out of the apartment, and Obi-Wan just looked up, a tear falling down his face as he had let another person close to him die. But before anyone could react, Padme's water broke and she went into labor. The Masters rushed her to a medical facility while they watched behind glass as medical droids delivered twins, with Ahsoka eventually joining them, and all four were shocked to learn that they were Anakin and Padme's children. However, having witnessed Anakin's death, Padme couldn't go on. She named her children Luke and Leia and asked Obi-Wan and Ahsoka to take care of them for her and Anakin, and Padme died of a broken heart. The Jedi were devastated by yet another loss, but they would keep their word. Time passed and the war came to an end, with the Separatist Council being rested on Mustafar, and senators and delegates from both sides creating a peace treaty, with eventually Bail Organa becoming Chancellor. Maul would be taken into custody thanks to Ahsoka and would be executed. Luke and Leia would grow up in the Jedi Temple, hearing stories about their father and mother, and when the time came, Luke became the Padawan of Ahsoka, who returned to the Order, and Leia became the Padawan of Obi-Wan. Yoda would die of old age, and Mace would take over as Grand Master until eventually Luke and Leia joined the High Council alongside Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, eventually with the two becoming co-Grand Masters and leading the Jedi and galaxy into an era of peace. Alright, and that's the story. So far I think that's the shortest one I've done, but I think the story ended on a fairly high note. I've seen other videos like this, like with the same idea and topic, but I kind of wanted to go into a different route. I like the idea of Anakin going to prison and him breaking out, but I didn't want to go into like too much detail, as I feel like it would have stretched the story out too far. Like I didn't want to go into Luke and Leia and how they would be raised as Jedi and all that. I feel it wouldn't really add to the story. It would just kind of hinder it. But overall, I had fun with this one, and if you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Go check out my other channels. Go check out and donate to the Cash App if you want to see a short or a video done. But with all that out of the way, I will see you all in the next one. Peace.